Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Film Chronicles. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down James Gunn, The Suicide Squad. Yeah, that's right, you heard it. James Gunn is directing a DC film. This was announced at DC Fandom back in, 2 months ago when they announced the Batman. I was going to cover it then, but I was too focused on the Batman. There was a lot of news surrounding that. That was the more current movie that was going to be expected to be released by, that all changed. So now it's going to be pushed back till next year. So here we are now. This movie looks really good, especially in comparison to the most recent Suicide Squad by David Ayer. Apparently there's a lot of studio interference with that film too, but I'm sure I'll cover that in another video. But back into James Gunn, The Suicide Squad. We're going to dive into this with the trailer thoughts, some discussion based on things that I've read, and yeah, we're going to go from there. And just a friendly reminder to keep hitting that like button. Make sure you guys are commenting. If you guys are new here to the channel, just make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. You guys can also hit that notification bell so that way you guys can see any new videos that I do. I do stuff like this based on DC, Marvel, anything really related that catches my interest, I'll try to cover and get into. And with that being said, let's get into it. Right off the bat, we can tell that this is going to be a way different movie than the previous Suicide Squad, like I said earlier. So James Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 is going to be here. He wrote the story. He's going to be directing. It's going to be awesome. So surprisingly, Harley Quinn's going to be back. I mean, I don't mean that as surprisingly. I just mean her being in it kind of makes sense, but I didn't expect it. But Joel Kinnaman is also back as Rick Flag, and then we also have Viola Davis back as Amanda Waller, Jai Courtney back as Captain Boomerang, and then the newcomers here we have Idris Elba playing Bloodsport, we have John Cena playing Peacemaker, and then we also have Peter Capaldi coming in as the Thinker, Alice Braga as a character named Sol Soria, Pete Davidson is also going to be playing a character called Blackguard, and then we have David Dastmalchian as Polka Dot Man, Michael Rooker as Savant, and then we have Taika Waititi. He's listed on the cast list as some kind of secret cameo, so it's interesting what that's going to possibly be. Talk about that in a little bit. We also have Nathan Fillion as the detachable kid. His power is literally detaching his limbs. It's going to be pretty hilarious seeing that happen. King Shark is also on the list, and then we also have who else here? Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother, who was the stand-in for Rocket Raccoon. He's going to be the stand-in for a character called Weasel. And then we have Flora Berg as Javelin. We also have Mongol coming in. Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot of new things coming in with this new movie. It's going to be crazy to see, and it's insane that we even got this little bit of a teaser too. I kind of previewed it earlier in the beginning of the video, but yeah, I mean, it's exciting to see where this is going to go. So there are some things that were talked about during DC Fandom that were confirmed. One of that being that the setting is going to be somewhere in South America. They described it as kind of like a 1970s war movie, and there's been rumors that there's going to be two versions of the squad. One initially in the beginning that gets kind of picked off. This has kind of been the big rumor because there's such a huge cast, and James Gunn has talked about not really making all of them the main characters. He has his main core probably already picked out, but other than that, that's kind of really it. And it's obviously going to be rated R. There's a bunch of gore everywhere. Some of the characters describe, genitals blowing up everywhere, heads exploding, limbs coming off, stuff like that. So it's going to be a mixture of, that kind of tone mixed with, that comedic timing that James Gunn has accomplished with his other movies, such as movies like Serenity and stuff like that. And all of the costumes look amazing for each character. So going over the list, we have Harley Quinn back as Margot Robbie back as Harley Quinn. See, it's so hard to distinguish them two because she just captures that character really well. But we also have Idris Elba coming in as Bloodsport, who I don't really know much about these characters. A lot of them are kind of like C-list, D-list characters. I initially thought that Idris Elba was going to play Adrian Chase, or also known as Vigilante, because they kind of did him in Arrow, so it kind of led me to believe that they would try to bring him onto the film again. But there's also John Cena as Peacemaker, who's also going to be getting his own spin-off show for HBO Max, which is interesting. So that's another thing to talk about later on. and it's he's described as like a douchier Captain America who will stop at nothing to achieve peace, even if it means killing. So it's pretty funny because it's ironic in that way. And then we also have Peter Capaldi as the Thinker. They did him in the Flash show. We have Pete Davidson as Blackguard, David Alsamachian as Polka Dot Man, which is really cool. He's kind of a more Batman-centric villain, I would say, but his powers are so weird. All his polka dots let him do different things or hold different items, something like that. Michael Rooker, a frequent James Gunn collaborator, we're playing a Savant, which is going to be pretty cool to see. And then we also have a rumored cameo from Taika Waititi himself playing Ratcatcher 1. And we also have Daniela Melchior playing Ratcatcher 2, who I try to zoom on here, but I think I did a terrible job of doing that close-up. And we have Nathan Fillion here as the detachable kid, whose power is that his limbs fall off and he uses them as weapons. It's insanity. Flora Borg as Javelin right here on the left corner. That's going to be pretty interesting to see. I'm pretty sure he's going to be one of the first ones to go off. Like I said, there's going to be a squad that gets picked off pretty quick on, like within the first 20 minutes of the movie. Like even James Gunn has said so himself. He said don't get attached to any of the characters. So that's going to be a big, warning sign. So that's going to be awesome to see on the screen. Not going to lie to you guys. It's going to be a very different approach to the story itself, and it feels in line with how the Suicide Squad was written in the comics, being this expendable squad. It doesn't matter who it is or how badass they are. It doesn't matter. They're going to get picked off at one point or another, whether it's by the little chip in their neck and blows off their head like Slipknot. Rest in peace to him. But yeah, that's going to be exciting to see, man. I just can't wait. This movie's going to be off the rails, and it's going to be a lot of twists and turns coming. They talk about it throughout the whole DC fandom video. I'll make sure to link it in the about, so that way you guys could go and watch it if you guys want to see it all over again. But they do talk about a lot of good plot details without giving away too much information, other than what is already known about the ensemble cast that they chose to go out with. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting story. There's a big villain that's rumored. If you know who the first villain that the Justice League Society of America faced, then you'll know who the villain is. It's going to be pretty cool to see if that comes out to be true. And yeah, other than that, there's just some screenshots that I have of this movie. It just looks, phenomenal and exciting. We got Weasel here, played by Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother. That's going to be cool to see. And yeah, everything looks really comic accurate. The costumes, the cast looks great. And I just can't wait to see where they go with the story. I've read some rumors, but I'm not going to talk about it just because A, I don't think they're very true. And also B, I don't want to spoil anything. I want to go into this with an open mind and kind of blind. So that's just where I'm going to end this video at. If more information comes out, I'll make further videos on it just to discuss more details about it. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for coming around and checking out this video and sticking around, listening to me ramble on about information and stuff like that. And again, another friendly reminder to just make sure you guys keep hitting that like button, make sure you guys comment, make sure you guys subscribe, share the video, and stuff like that. If you're new here, when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get the notification. And I will be working on new videos, so make sure you guys stay tuned for those. And like I said, thank you so much. Have a great day.